otherwise known as the Helicopter Zombie from George Romero's 1978 world classic cult film, Dawn of the Dead. You may have seen it. And if you haven't, you ought to run right out and do that right now. Stop everything you're doing. Don't listen to me. Go out and see the movie. I am in it as the helicopter zombie. But let's focus on Halloween because I was asked to relate perhaps one of my favorite Halloween memories. And although it's been many years ago, about the time I was 4 years old, 5 years old, I lived in a small town in central Pennsylvania, Mount Union. And the biggest thing in town all year was the Halloween parade. I had no knowledge of that because I was just a kid, but that evening, my parents took me out and we stood along the side of the street. And then pretty soon, all these other people were all lined up and down both sides of the street under the street lights. And in the distance, we could hear the music. And there were bands. We didn't hear bands every day. And the bands came marching down the street, and a float or two, and a fire truck. But then came these mummers, all sorts of individual creatures, and they were absolutely magic. I had never seen anything like that in my life. It was like a magic river, and all I wanted to do was jump in and swim a little bit, and I did. Until about half a block away, I think my mother caught up with me and she said, "No, you're supposed to watch, you don't get in the parade." But that I think was still one of my favorite memories because it introduced me to a world beyond my own. The same street that I'd walked up and down maybe many times had been transformed by the magic of Halloween. And I think Halloween decorations transform everything. Well, interestingly, a number of years had gone by, and I get together with a friend from high school, and now the Halloween parade passed right in front of my mother's house. And I thought, wow, come on over, Fred. We're going to celebrate and watch the parade. So we celebrated, and then we go out and watch the parade, and we would have a grand time. Now, I have to tell you that my Uncle Frank was one of the parade organizers, and his wife, Pat, would be one of the mummers, and she would come by with this witch outfit, and the hat was like, foot and a half, 3 feet across. It was huge, and I had no idea who she was until she came right up to the curb where we were standing, and I thought, a witch is going to come to me. This is really cool. And she lifted up her mask, and I said, "Could you use a drink, Aunt Pat?" Once I recognized her, there went a whole bourbon and ginger just like that. Had to go back and refill. And she was just so happy, and I was happy. Fred was happy. The parade was happy. Everybody was happy. And it was such a great time that, well, no matter where I lived, except when I was overseas in the military, I came back to the Mount Union Halloween parade. And I did that up until about a year or two ago when the parade was canceled due to COVID. And so it's been a long-lasting time of getting together with my friend Fred and now his family and a few other friends. And we have done that every year through the beauty and magic of Halloween. And it's really the only time we might get together. So anyway, it's been a wonderful experience to have been swept up in Halloween. And I hope in some small way I've been able to communicate that with all of you fine listeners out there and viewers. Happy Halloween. Love you.